Hello and welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm your host, Nobody, and today we're going back to Instruments of Destruction. So in this episode, I decided that I was going to build something for the first time, and I decided I'm going to build Claptrap here. Now, I am not an advanced builder by no means, but I will give this my best possible shot here. Alright, well, I had to go ahead and start over. We're on the right track, but our angles were slightly off, so we're going to have to fix that. So the first time around, I did 75, but I think what we need to do is do more of like an 82. Seems about right to me. So if we look at Claptrap here, you see he's got a constant angle going all the way up, and I think the 75 that I started with was actually a little bit too aggressive. So 82, hopefully that plays out in our favor here. Alright, and after building up a little bit, that actually looks like an appropriate angle here for Claptrap. So we're going to stick with the 82 degrees and hopefully get something good out of it as a result. And you know, after looking at it a little bit, this may or may not be good. I'm trying to look at the proportions here. It looks like the angles are definitely a little bit more aggressive going on the forward slope versus the side slope. So let's see if we can address that maybe. And you know what? That does look quite a bit better. So we're going to go ahead and do that for the back side as well. Alright, well, proportionally, that's really starting to look like Claptrap, but if you see up here, we're actually reaching close to half of our build limit, and if we played all this up, we'll definitely reach that very quickly. So I gotta make some decisions. Are we gonna stick with the little squares? I think we're going to, just for now. I may regret that decision later on. However, it does give us plenty of points to make the Claptrap replica as accurate as possible with attachment points. Alright, so while we're actually in this mode, we can actually see that these surfaces here are actually relatively flat. I was kind of concerned about that. I was going to add the panels to it, but seeing how flat this is, I may not have to. Now, as we can see here, Claptrap actually has a little bit of a mud flap right here where the wheel is. So there's one part that comes to mind that we can use for this, and that would be this plow, potentially. So let's go ahead and put it on here, and let's go ahead and flip the angle around. We will probably have to lower it, maybe. Yeah, we'll have to lower it by 1. Hopefully that won't interfere with the wheel at all, although it's getting kind of close. What we're going to do is put the plow on that, and I think that looks all right. Alright, let's go ahead and get the eye done. I think that will do a lot to put this into perspective. So I'm looking here. Let's see. If we go ahead and hollow this out, I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, a 3x3. Alright, there we go. We got our little square here, and I'm thinking we're going to use a vortex for his eye. Alright, there we go. We got an overdrive in place. Now, is that going to push the eye out too far? Let's go ahead and see real quick. It kind of does. So what we're going to do is we're going to move that back just a little bit. All right, so we put our overdrive in place, and now with the vortex also in place, that's looking a lot more like it. Let's see. We're also going to make this guy blue. So when we spawn it in, there we go. We got a nice blue eye for Claptrap. Alright guys, I finally finished building Claptrap after what seems to be about 4 hours, man. A lot of this stuff I had to learn first time. Like I said, I'm not a full-time builder on this game. This is actually my first real project, so let's go ahead and get into it and see what we can do. Now to start off, we have to hit tab right off the rip or we're just going to fall over, but this is Claptrap. I'm using gyros instead of balloons. It seemed to provide a better result. Every time I tried to use the balloons, I just kept flying off into space. Now we do have forward and back movement, and we also have side to side. Now I do have a couple of tiny thrusters inside that are helping with the turning in this thing instead of rotating the tire. So what happened at first was I tried to turn with the tire itself, but it just caused the whole tire to spin with Claptrap basically staying stationary. So let's go ahead and go over some of the destructive things that this guy can do. Now the very first thing that's probably sticking out is his hands. If we go ahead and hit 1, they will immediately start spinning up, and it's basically just a whirlwind of death. I wanted to encourage people to actually run into things, so I made the distance of the lasers not too long. Alright, and here we go with first contact. This is actually the first time I'm seeing it with you guys, and it looks like, yeah, it's doing about as much work as I thought it would be. Now if we hit E, we can actually squeeze his fingers together so we have a little more focus there, and if we do the opposite with Q, we can actually spread them out so we have like these fans of lasers here, and I'd say that's pretty damn good. So let's go ahead and turn those off and back up, and let's go to the next building for the next weapon. Alright, so we did actually do a little bit of damage to this building right here, so we'll just go for that one next. I believe if we hit 4, yeah, there we go. We have a massive laser. Now it's slightly pointed downward. Claptrap is a up-close and personal force to be reckoned with. A lot of these weapons are necessarily going to be an up-close and personal kind of experience here. So let's go ahead and turn off the lasers, as fun as they are, and let's go ahead and get lined up for the next shot. Alright, and I think we're pretty lined up with the big building. Now, Claptrap so far has been an up-close and personal death machine, but he does have some range. If we go ahead and hit R, we shoot a triple burst of the grenades here, and there we go, man. Let's go ahead and just shoot another round of those in there, and boom. They are set up to detonate on impact of anything, so there is no delay with that. And then last but not least, we do have Claptrap's eye here, which is actually one of those vortex machines. We hit the number 2 to actually draw things in, and we actually hit the number 3 to blow things away. So let's go ahead and get up to another building and see what we can do with this guy. Alright, and I think that might be close enough. Let's go ahead and just hit it. Oh, there we go. Yeah. and everything just gets brought up into his face. Probably not that good, so let's just go ahead and blow things away. And, you know, quite frankly, it's not as destructive as I thought it would be. However, it will go well with the hands here. Now, speaking of the hands themselves, I'll need both hands for this, but we can actually independently control the arms here. Let's see if I can remember myself. Oh my god, Claptrap. Well, I'm having a hard time controlling them, but yeah, as you can see, we can independently control them up and down. Let me go ahead and turn those off real quick. We can actually pull down the arms themselves. We can actually pull them back up. We can extend the arms as well. We can bring them back in, and with Z and X, we can actually rotate the joints up at the shoulders as well. So yeah, there we go. Now, sometimes it does get bound up a little bit, so I don't really know the best way to fix that. Again, this is my first real build in this game. All right, and last but not least, we have one more key. If we hit F, we got a little bit of fire on the end of his antenna. Now, it absolutely does nothing functional. I just thought it looked really cool. Well, guys, I think that's about it for this episode. Tell me what you think of my first build in Instruments of Destruction. Leave a like and subscribe if you guys did enjoy the video. And with that, guys, I will see you all in the next one.